Hello, hello, where am I? Hi, it's Lone Wolf. Oh, here I am. Lone Wolf at Wolf Territories Grid, welcome, and another exciting video to enthrall you and excite you, and now I don't know what's going on now. So, okay, stand up. Stand up, right, oh, what is going on? Hang on. Flipping Opensim, now I'm doing the spinny thing. I don't know if you've ever done this, you literally just stop spinning. Stop spinning? Okay, settle down. Have you been drinking? Anyway, moving swiftly on. So here I am at Wolf Territories Grid. Welcome. Hope you like it. Anyway, so what was I going to talk about? I know what I'm going to talk about. So today's topic is hosting your own grid, running your own OpenSim regions, and different ways to get land and water. And so yeah. So let's say you've wandered around the grids. Maybe you've got a little avatar somewhere, maybe here, opens at wolfterritories.org. And so you've come here and you've thought to yourself, do you know what I'd like to do? Do you know what? I'd like a bit of land of my own. So there's some different options in that sort of way. And it's not only, there are loads of different grids to choose from, and you probably want to find the one that suits you best, okay? So it might not be Wolf Territories Grid, you might not like rivers and mountains and all that sort of thing, or being stuck in the middle of an ocean. So you might want something else, but there's lots of different providers out there who can do a really good service. So, moving swiftly on. So I'm going to talk about a bit about what we do here is we do 1024 by 1024 regions. Here they all are. There's 720 something of them, and we can put your region anywhere you like. You could be at the edge of the ocean or inside somewhere in the ocean. You can rent one region or 100, we don't really mind, and we can sort you out. So and it's all load balanced and pretty fast, and then you can have your own estate and do pretty much what you want. But if you're a little bit more technical and you want to have your own server, your own grid, you can actually take the next stage. So first stage is renting a region from another grid, and there's lots of different options. Just got some in my web browser somewhere over here. So Dreamland Metaverse, for instance, OS Grid, which is probably the biggest one. Zeta Worlds as well, very good service, and there's Avi Worlds, and there's all kinds of others that you can sign up for, and so yeah, they're kind of cool. And so with those, you can actually sign up to rent some land for them, and there's various different prices vary, services vary, what you get varies. There's Kitely as well, of course. Don't forget Kitely. He's one of the greats. I have a lot of respect for the guy who runs Kitely. He's just a really nice guy. And so I'm just kind of helping promote other different grids. So on Zeta Worlds, you can go to Get Land, OS Grid. You can actually buy your own land. So that's the easy route, because you be looked after, hopefully. There's another guy called Unadical who runs Masala Estates. Just a very small outfit, but really worth looking into. And he's got a shop here at Wolf Territories Grid. If you just go to the destination guide, click this little button here. You can see they've got loads of different places you can go in Wolf Territories Grid. If you go to that one, shop, stock and estate office, you'll see Masala Estates has got a shop there, and get in touch with him and he can help you set up your own stuff. Now the next thing is self-hosting, or doing your own thing, making your own grid. Now the first option is to actually create a region on your own server or machine, computer at home even, and then connect it into another grid like OS Grid, and they provide, if you look here, so this is this one here, they provide under osgrid.simulators.php, they provide an installation of OpenSim setup to connect to their grid. So you find a place on their map. We don't do this because of security, really. Dreamland, I don't know if they do it. Certainly Zeta Worlds, he does it as well. You just download this file, and it's a pre-configured environment, and it explains how it all works and how Dyn DNS works, so that's really good. The only thing with Zeta Worlds is we can't get there from Wolf Territories Grid. No idea why. He just blocks us. He blocks everybody. So, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I think, you're missing out on traffic, and traffic is what's important when you're trying to run a grid and you want people to come and see your beautiful creations. So that's the second option. So is to get download a pre-configured binary onto a machine, and if you're running it locally at home, Zeta Worlds has got this really good guide that explains under ZetaWorld/host your home, explains how it all works, because if you're running it at home, you need something called a static IP address. If you haven't got a static IP address, it means that the outside world, you might set it up today, and then and also you need to set up some routing from your modem into your machine. It's all a bit complicated. The other option is to rent a what we call a VPS, or a server in the cloud. I quite like these people, Contabo. They're not very expensive. I actually go for all my servers are cloud VPSs. Which one is this? It's this one here. All my servers are Excel VPSs, so I rent more servers. I have quite a few servers running, and I've got object storage as well, which I use as just this thing, which is kind of cool. So you can rent your own server in the cloud, and then you can install. You could either go for the route. You can actually install one of those pre-configured builds and connect into someone else's grid, if they'll let you, or you can go the other route, which is actually to build your own grid from scratch. Okay, and you can do this pretty much. There is a pre-configured. If you go to what's it called? Not Amazon. Where am I going to there? Opensimworld.com. There is a website where you can actually download a pre-built setup that you download on Windows, and you just run it on Windows, and it just gets on with it and does it. Which I did have it looked up actually. Let me just have a little peek through all my history. Sorry, I should have done this before we started, but I was looking at just a few. Okay, there is one. I'll tell you what, I'll look it up and put it in the link under this, where you can actually download pre-built, which has a nice interface which allows you to configure the different options. Someone did say to me actually, who was it? He calls me Furball. I don't know, and I think it's Jimmy. I think the guy that made that beautiful tree, which you can get from his land. I love that tree. That tree and me are best friends. I chew on it to keep my teeth clean, teeth sharp. Moving swiftly on. So there is there's a couple of binaries things where you can download, I can install and run it, and it'll install, and you can just get up and running really quick on Windows. If you're going to build anything substantial, I would build it on Linux, which requires a bit of technical knowledge. And if you want to build something as big as what we've got, we're at 728 regions, and we're going to keep growing and growing and growing. You need to be thinking about multiple robust servers and how you're going to store all your assets, because asset stores get big. And you look at some of my other videos, I talk through how to do this, how to run multiple robust servers with Apache load balancing, and this all might sound like a foreign language to you. If it does, you can learn it. It's cool. You just learn stuff. Everyone has to learn stuff. So, and there are all kinds of gotchas. Building Opensim from scratch, we have our own compiled version. We use a version of Opensim called Continuum, which is like normal Opensim but has a few extensions on it, which is really cool. And I compile it from scratch, so I know what's in it. And but building Opensim from scratch from the ground up basically is really like, especially if you want to include money and voice and all those things, because Vivox, we're using Vivox voice, but they don't allow new people. So you need to get a license from somewhere. I don't give out my license because, of course, the activities that go on there, I don't want to get banned. So I won't give out my license randomly. So yeah. So there are other voice options. Currency, we use Globit. Very good. It's pretty easy to put in. I would have had... we did want to have our own currency, Wolf Territories dollar. I really did want to have it and use the Podex system, but unfortunately we couldn't go with that because we just couldn't get it to work. And despite asking for help from Podex, they referred me to someone on Skype who never responded, and I managed to get through to Globit through the Facebook page. So that's a little secret hint if you want to put currency on your grid. And it kind of helps to have currency because it means people can buy and sell things, and you can try my casino or whatever. There's lots and lots of different things you can do. So you have to build all that stuff in. So it's like having an Airfix kit where some of the bits don't fit, and you're not sure what the glue is. It's basically, you might not know what an Airfix kit is. It's like a model plane. So you buy a model plane. It's lots of little bits of plastic that you have to kind of glue together and paint and make it look right. So and even when you've done all that, you've got to try and configure the grid. And how do you make regions, and how do you manage it all? And it can all become a bit of a huge nightmare. So don't worry. Okay, so let's go through those options again. Option 1, renting land from someone else like us, or some of the big providers, or even some little providers. You might want to rent land from some of them. You can get free land, but obviously somebody has to pay for the servers. So I reckon if you want to be part of something, you should be paying for the servers. You should be contributing towards managing and running those servers, because I tell you what, it's more than a full-time job running these servers. I'm constantly badgered with things that as things get faster or slower. Every time I teleport and it's slightly slower than a millionth of a second, I'm really worried. You've got so the first thing is to rent land. Second thing is to download a pre-built config of Opensim and connect to someone else's grid. Third thing is to actually build your own little grid, and maybe it'll get to be a big grid. I don't know, but to become a big grid, you have to understand running multiple servers. You have to understand networking. You have to understand firewalls. The amount of grids that are not protected. They have you have your private ports open, which sounds a bit dodgy, but it's nothing to do with the sea or ships. It's private ports. That in Opensim there's a private port and a public port. The public port is basically what the viewers connect to, and the private port is what the regions connect to, and they all talk to each other. So for instance, all my servers have full rights to talk to each other, but anyone coming in from the outside can only access the public port. Like my databases are protected. I protect everything, even the land here. We don't allow resing or script running here unless you're part of our group, and to get part of that group you have to either buy some land, rent some land, or be invited. Although you can join our events group just by going to search and clicking join our group, where you'll at least get notices. So last thing, so that's it really, I suppose, on this one. So that's how you do it. Basically you can set up your own Opensim region right up to a full grid. I would recommend, if you're brand new, start by renting a bit of land. Just get used to how everything works, get used to how the region configs work, get used to how land works. I've got another video actually where I actually explain all this, and then from that place, if that works for you and you're doing really well, maybe look at getting your own, moving to your own grid. If you do that, you can actually, some providers, I do it, allow you to take backups of your regions, which you can then load onto your new grid. The only problem with that is they don't preserve things like rights and stuff like that, and land ownership. So for instance, if you've got a region and you've been renting out little parcels to people, and you take the ore of that region and then load it onto your new grid, all those parcels, all the rights and everything will be set to you, so you have to go and fix it all, and it's a bit of a pain, to be fair. So anyway, I think that's it. That's all I'm going to say on this subject. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm normally hanging around here in our beautiful welcome area with that fantastic tree by Jimmy Olsen. Thanks so much, Jimmy, for your work in Opensim. I do recognise just how many fantastic people are working, to make Opensim better, and I hope this is my little contribution to it. www.wolfterritories.org. Have a great day. Lone Wolf signing off.